What's good, guys? This is Unjolly Ranchers diving into the shadows of life's untamed tales. Today's story is freaking insane, and it's about the time I found a man sleeping in the woman's underwear section at Walmart. Now, this story takes place back in 2018 when your boy was 14 years old. That night started out as any other night with my homie D, a couple of punk kids riding around town on their BMX bikes, smoking a little weed and looking for adventure. I remember as we were cruising, we got a call from a homie, Mr. Miyagi, who was looking for something to do. So we started riding over to his crib in the dead of the night, maybe around 11 o'clock. We pulled up, flipped our bikes upside down, and went inside, dabbed our boy up, and put on some music as we came up with a plan for that night. Now, I don't know about these days, but back then, Mr. Miyagi was the homie who was always willing to steal anything for us from Walmart, so that was one of our ideas. This was also back in the days where Walmart was open 24/7, and making forts in the toilet paper section was really popular. So we figured we'd go give that a shot, having nothing else to do that night. So we hopped on our bikes and started heading to the Walmart. On the way, we passed by a bar and saw a group of maybe 6 drunk guys hanging out outside. So we stopped by and asked them, "Hey, care to make a bet?" Most of them turned me down, but 2 of the guys were curious and asked me, "What kind of bet?" So I told them I bet them $20 that I couldn't ride my bike all the way around the block backward. They laughed at me in pure disbelief and took the challenge, but asked me to show the money first. So I pulled out a $20 bill and gave it to D to hold on to, him knowing full well I was able to make bank off this bet. I then sat on my handlebars and started to pedal backwards. I started going around the block and they were blown away. I heard one of their buddies say, "Well, there goes the rest of your drinking money." As I rounded the last corner, I got a little fancy with it and went no hands, doing a little dance to my music. I pulled up, hopped off the bike, and everyone was laughing their asses off like, "How can you do that? I've never seen that before." I told them I've been doing it for years and I could go all the way across town like it was nothing. Disappointed yet amazed, the guy who made the bet paid up respectfully and we were back on our way. D and Mr. Miyagi laugh and saying I just hustled the fuck out of those drunk fools, but I mean, it was a clean fair bet, man. Anyways, we end up getting to the Walmart, park our bikes on the rack, and head inside, making our way to the toilet paper section. I mean, we tried to make a fort, but it was so small and uncomfortable that we only ended up staying in there for like 5 minutes. So we then started walking through the Walmart. As we were walking towards the electronics section, planning a heist, we ended up seeing someone. But not just a random shopper, it was actually a college senior passed out on a bench with a huge hole ripped in the crotch of his pants, without any socks or shoes on, laying right beside the woman's underwear section. We couldn't believe our eyes. Trying to be quiet but laughing our asses off. So I grabbed a pair of little girl's underwear and set it on his face so he'd wake up questioning his life and what he'd done that night. But a few seconds after I set them on his face, he slowly regained consciousness, bringing his hand to his face, grabbing the underwear. So the guys and I all put on a serious questioning face. He looked over at us, then back at the underwear with a look of confusion and concern on his face. I asked him, "You good, bro? What the hell happened to you and your shorts? Where are your shoes?" He looked around, slurring his words, and just said, "Fuck, man, I don't remember. It was a long night at the frat party." Now all of us were hysterically laughing. At this point, it was maybe 5 in the morning. Anyways, he sat up, collecting himself, and asked us what we were doing. So Mr. Miyagi told him what was up with our night, and then asked him if he needed any help. The man, we'll just call him Bruce, said, "Yeah, can you help me find some shoes?" So we start walking over to this bin of flip-flops we saw on the way in. Mr. Miyagi grabs a pair, rips them apart from the plastic, and throws them on the ground. Then says, "Here you go, brother." Bruce slid them on and said, "Ah, smart, thanks, homie." Then he started looking for his wallet. He couldn't find it, but he still had his credit card. So he asked us, "I really appreciate you guys helping me. I'd like to reward you for your quest. Go ahead and grab anything you want and I'll buy it." Now, I felt bad for the guy. He probably just got his wallet jacked, so I told him, "I'm good, bro, don't worry about it." And D agreed with me. But Mr. Miyagi, being the one to complete the quest, said, "Yo, really? I love a bag of jerky." So Bruce told him to grab one, and then he bought it for him. We all started heading out of the store, and he asked us, "Hey, do you guys have a car by chance?" I turned to him and said, "Nah, bro, I'm only like 14. Bro's eyes widened and said, "Wait, really? I could have sworn you were like 18. So I told him, "Nah, brother, we're just some dumb kids." He started laughing and said, "Nah, you guys seem pretty chill." So we walked over to the bikes and hopped on. Bruce then said, I'll try to keep up with you guys, but Mr. Miyagi stepped in and was like, nah fam, my cousin works here, you can take that bike over there, it's his and he won't mind. Now this was a complete lie, that was just some random person's bike, but I'm no rat. Anyways, Bruce thanked him and stumbled his hungover ass on this random ass bike and took the lead, slowly riding towards his house. We ended up following him maybe a mile away to these apartments by Winco, and he told us, well, this is my place, I'll just leave your cousin's bike right here for him to grab. Mr. Miyagi told him that would work, and Bruce went inside. So there we were, laughing our asses off like, what the hell was that? Why was he in the women's underwear section out of all places he could have been? But I guess that's a question only God himself could answer. But that's not where the story ends. On our way through the parking lot, Mr. Miyagi saw a 2006 Ford Mustang GT and said, I know this motherfucker. I'm popping his tires. I was like, nah bro, you won't. And D told him that's fucked up and not to do it. I mean, it was a really pretty car. I don't know if he had beef with the guy or what, but he rode right up to the car and popped both tires on the driver's side with a knife. D and I were like, oh shit, and we ditched him right away. Like, we're not taking any part in this. So we started to ride away, maybe a block down the street in another apartment parking lot. We saw some speakers a college kid ditched outside a dumpster, so we went over to look at them. They were all fucked up, so we ended up just chilling on our bikes and talked about what we'd do that day. I pulled out my old school box mod I took from my dad and started ripping it, but right as I started to hit it, a cop car pulled up and threw his lights on. So I threw it in my pocket and tried to hide the smoke. Sadly, it was too late and they already saw us. They then got out and said, what's that you just put in your pocket? So, knowing they already knew what it was, I took it out and showed them it was a vape and told them, it's my cousin's vape, he left it at my house, we're waiting for him to get home so I can give it back. The cop gave me stink eye and said, you know you've got to be 18 to smoke tobacco products, right? Now it definitely had Nick in it, but I said, oh, it actually has zero Nick juice in it, my cousin just uses it for doing tricks. Luckily, the cop bought it and said, well, you stop hitting that and give it back to your cousin as soon as possible. Anyways, the reason we're here is because we got a call about 3 teenagers popping car tires. We've gotten 2 calls from people already. Don't tell me that was you boys. So D stepped in and said, no, that wasn't us, officer, that was our dumbass friend Johnny, and we ditched him as soon as he did it. We told him not to. Did he really do it to another car? The cop told him so far only 2 people have called in about it, and we promised it wasn't us and just our dumb friend. The cop asked him what his name was, so we lied to him and told him his name was Johnny Bowman. The cop then thanked us and started leaving, then reminded me once again to give the vape to my cousin because if I'm caught with it again, he would confiscate it. I told him that's the reason we were here and my cousin would be home from work soon. The cop then left. D and I stared at each other in pure astonishment. He said, bro, that's crazy you talked your way out of that. Can I rip your vape? I started laughing and said, you know me, Ricky taught me well. We ended up riding back to D's house and passing out around 8 a.m. to go out and do it all over again the next night after playing some Black Ops 2 Zombies on Die Rise. And that, my friends, is where the story ends. If there's a moral here, it'd be, don't hang out with people who like to steal or make stupid decisions. Don't do anything like Mr. Miyagi did in this story time. I hope you all enjoyed this story. It's definitely a funny one and a night we'll always remember. Anyways, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more crazy life stories. Stay tuned for more on Jolly Tales. Until next time, peace.